Hello, Swivelheads. It's time to pay attention. All the chess pieces have been moved into place. World War III seems to be an escalation in the Mideast, Russia, with China, North Korea, all around the world. Everybody's getting involved. Everybody's moving their pieces and getting prepared for what seems to be coming. We're going to go through a review of the combatants, some of the nations and players in this conflict, who is going to be involved in it. And we're going to look at their strategic forces. We'll go to Google Earth a little bit and kind of put some of this in perspective. And that's going to be the main thing. We're going to go a little bit into some of the previous news, where I'm going to try not to go as long tonight because I'm getting up early in the morning to hit the road. I'm heading back to my building, my bug out location, which will be bug in, bug out when I get there. So, guys, pay attention. Right now, it's serious. Right now, it's very, very serious. Things are looking ugly. Guys, I understand that we've got the most warships deployed in the Mideast that we've had, and gosh, who knows when. I mean, we're talking like I'm hearing numbers that are even greater than what we staged for the Iraqi war, although the ground forces we're staging aren't the same, as far as I know. We don't have all the tanks and things like we staged, to be able to go into Iraq once upon a time. But the staging is very, very serious. So let's go into some of this, guys. We're going to go into it. Bear with me a minute. I am going to open the chat room over here to see who's in here, but I'm going to mainly concentrate on the news. We'll go through the chat a little bit, but we're going to try to keep it brief tonight if we all can, at least briefer than normal, all things considered. All right, we'll see who's here tonight. All right, we got several people in the chat room, Marty. Very good, very good. Sweet Home, Alabama. Yeah, that was playing on the radio today. Very good. All right, guys, so let's go into this. I'm going to hit the share button. We got a lot to cover and a short time to get there. Westbound like a bandit run. Let's see, I got to hit the right share. Where am I going? Not there. I'm going to go, yeah. Guys, if you've ever considered getting ready for long-term food storage, this is the time, or other prepping supplies. If you go to prepwithgreg.com, prepwithgreg.com. If you've never done it before, it's time to consider it. If you've been doing it, it's time to up the game, guys, because what you got when the music stops playing, that's all you're going to have, the musical chair analogy. Right now, if you go to prepwithgreg.com, you can get a 3-month supply of food, or you can get a 2-week supply if you can't handle that price wise. But by the way, that is 3 months, guys. 3 months. This is stuff that lasts 25 years. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Over 2,000 calories a day. And what I like about this is it comes in these convenient, easy to handle sealed buckets with sealed pouches inside. You can bury this stuff in cache points that you may pick in a national park or somewhere. Just know where you put it, where nobody else knows. You don't have to have all your stuff in your house in case your house burns down. But there's also many other prepping supplies available here. If you just click on Patriot Supply, my Patriot Supply logo, once you go to prepwithgreg.com, go through prepwithgreg.com, prepwithgreg.com. Go through that, and you will find many other deals here. There's a little power supply. I hope it's better than the one I got. I need to look into that. So, yeah, I need something to run my CPAP machine. Oh, look, it's got solar rays, and it's priced about the same price as the stupid battery thing I bought a while back. I got to do a review on that. I'm having some issues with the one I got. Anyway, you can get these little heaters, can heat, tons of stuff in water filtration, survival items, heirloom seeds. I'd say go to Chili Market and Eden Brothers, but you can get them here too. Sprouting seeds, air purification, deals of the day. Just check it out, see what they got. You might find something that might help you out. Anyway, let's go beyond it. Lithuania says 2 Russian military jets violated its airspace. Lithuania is a NATO nation. 2 Russian jets flew into a NATO nation's airspace. Guys, I'm telling you, this is getting serious. It's getting bigger by the moment. Let me adjust the screen here so I can go through the tabs. Pardon me, guys. It's a little too big. The Zoom tab interferes with my ability to click through tabs. So, and it just put it right back where I just moved it from. I hate Windows sometimes. It just has to auto-adjust everything the way you don't want it. Pardon me. Give me 1 second here. There we go. I hate it when it tries to force what it wants instead of what I'm trying to make it do. But anyway, guys, this is serious. It's getting tighter everywhere. So much so, look at this, guys. This guy who's considered to be a potential replacement for Putin himself, the Russian Security Council Secretary, Nikolai Patrushev, he has said today, he just said it's the destructive policies of the U.S. and its allies were increasing the risk that nuclear, chemical, and biological weapons could be used. And we supposedly got rid of all our bioweapons. So the fact that they're making a general threat like that sounds kind of over the top. But this is not somebody you've normally been hearing from. This isn't the usual wag the dog threat maker, but this guy is the head of the Russian Security Council. So when he talks, we need to pay attention. Lavrov is also, dead-faced. Lavrov's been saying a lot of stuff lately too along these lines. So we're in a situation here where it's cooking all around the world right now. Oh yeah, the Houthis shot down a U.S. MQ-9 Reaper drone off the coast of Yemen. If you think that's something, oh wow, that ain't even the top of it. Space war. The first space war battle has been fought. Now, who would have thought that the Houthis would have launched the first item that would have instigated a space war? Indeed, the Houthis launched missiles that had a range of something on the order of 1,200 miles toward Israel from Yemen, and the Israelis intercepted it with an Arrow 2 missile. And where is that? I thought that was over here. Anyway, we'll get to it in a little bit. They intercepted it with an Arrow 2 missile above the Kármán line, which is considered to be space. So the Mideast war has become a space war. And it's hard to say it's just the Israeli-Hamas war because the Houthis basically have declared war on Israel. So this war is expanding. And here's another case of this. U.S. strikes eastern Syria in response to attacks. We've sustained something over 40 attacks on military bases. And there is, Colonel Cole's in the house. Here's his favorite character. Yeah, no cussing, please. Hope I didn't say anything cussing. I try not to. We got to keep it clean. We're a family channel. If anybody says a wordy dirt, one of you mods, take it out. So somebody, delete that comment. And if the person keeps doing it, then you can shadow, you can time them out. And if they still insist on causing problems, let me know. We might have to ban some people if they're a real problem. So anyway, this is Milt Dud Lloyd Austin, Secretary of Defense, talking about this. So guys, it's cooking over there. It's heating up. U.S. senators propose resolution. Actually, I think they put it in. It's more than a proposal now. Allowing U.S. to strike. They put a bill in Iran if Gaza war expands. Basically, they're saying if Hezbollah picks up the pace and goes full-scale attacking on Israel, that we won't just take out Hamas. We're going to take out Iran. We're going to attack Iran. I don't know. We can take them out. I'll show you some of that stuff in a little bit. But here it is. Here's the article I was thinking about. Space battle just occurred for the first time in human history. When I get to Google Earth, I'll show you the kind of dimensions of what we're talking about here. But yeah, it went over the Kármán line, which is 62 miles high or 100 kilometers above sea level. That's where the interception took place. Yeah, I wonder what Spock would have to say about that. Anyway, guys, Hamas leaders hope for permanent war and don't care about running Gaza. That's pretty apparent already of what's happening in Gaza, and they've used Gaza as a shield, basically. How you doing, Rodney? So I'll take that ban. Enjoy my money, Greg, as I think you're doing the Lord's work. Oh, thank you, John. So, guys, oh, yeah, I've just had out of the last, I got to be very careful what I say. I've been trying to be so careful what I say on here. But out of the last 5 live sessions I've done, YouTube has demonetized 3 of them. And now when I upload anything, it takes 20 minutes for it to get through checking. You know, that once you've got some stuff that's been demonetized, they harass you. So it's getting very hard to operate here. If it weren't for the generosity of you guys with super chats, these live sessions, I don't know, I might have to just discontinue them. I don't know, but you guys are chipping in. I really appreciate that. It helps out. So, especially when they demonetize everything, I mean, they're getting really hard now, very difficult, and sometimes you don't even know what it was. You know, and you know, I don't know. It's just tough on here. It's really tough, guys. Top Hamas officials hint Kim Jong-un may side with their group for a possible strike on the U.S. because they're claiming they have an alliance with North Korea. An alliance. This is Hamas, a group, not not a nation. So, wow, guys, is this the case? But going back to this leadership of Hamas, they've got it's in their charter that they have to destroy Israel. So as long as a group like that is dominant in anywhere in Palestine, it's really difficult to see how Israel could accept a two-state solution. I mean, a two-state solution may sound like a great idea, but Israel's scared that as soon as if there's a full-up Palestinian state, that it's going to give over to something like this, and then they'll have an even bigger, harder war to deal with a full nation state. So, which would have, being a member probably of the UN and various other things. So Israel fears that. Now, we've talked about, the case of how, some of these parties came to be, including Israel. And, there's a lot of stuff there that is, strikes us as being somewhat unsavory. I'm not going to go into the details of it all here and now. But the deal is that it is what it is now. The cards are dealt. People are there. There's a lot of innocent people on both sides. Each side has their reasons now for being who they are and what they're doing. Some of the genesis of some of these things can be called to question, as a lot of people do. But the bottom line is there's innocent people on both sides. There are people that don't deserve what's coming at them. Yet, if you had a neighbor that came over and attacked your wife and your kids, and then he ran home and hid behind his wife and his kids and was threatening to attack you again, and that's what he continuously did, what would you do? How would you deal with that? See, that's kind of what they're dealing with over there. That's a tough situation. I can understand why Israel wants to take out Hamas, because if they just do a ceasefire, as a lot of people have been calling for, Hamas is just going to hit them again. They've already said so. I mean, they're saying they want a continuous war. They said they want to take out Israel, and they're going to do it no matter what. That's what they're claiming. So their existence, the very existence of Hamas, is a direct threat to Israel. And whether I've always believed that two wrongs don't make a right, but at some time you got to defend yourself too. Yes, Chuck Norris Gun Club. I'm trying to be very careful what I'm saying. Hello, Ray, because I've been demonetized so many times in here. But yes, they have been declared a terrorist group by the United States of America. So hopefully that saying that and the fact that it's been declared won't get me in trouble. Who knows? This platform is so finicky. It is so super finicky. But, you got to read between the lines of what I'm saying on some stuff, okay, guys? But apparently that's not good enough, because I guess the algorithms are getting smarter. They're reading between the lines, too, and they're learning code speak. So I got to be extremely careful on here. I don't want my channel to get banned, because once they start hitting on you, that's an area it can go to. So I'm trying to live within the rules of the platform, but sometimes you don't know where the borders are. I mean, how can I talk news and not talk about the war? You see what I'm saying, guys? That's essentially what they want me to do, is not talk about the war or anything that's political, as long as it's, if it's left of the center, that's fine. I can say anything in the world I want to on this platform. I can say anything in the world left of the center line, and that's fine. Oh, yeah. You get on the other side, though. Oh, no. But, that's how it is. So, so I'm in a precarious situation here, given what I think about things. So I can't always speak my mind, but a lot of times you guys know where I'm at. But, there you go, Chuck Norris. So we need to also need to what, Angie? So UK is getting ready to kick them out. Yeah, Chuck. Still, even with that, you got to be careful on here. So, shoot, the Zoom tab's fighting me again. This may be the biggest example right here that we're actually moving toward war. When the military turns around and tries to recruit white guys, of all things, something's really, it's really getting serious. They made a whole ad here. I think I can play this. Hey, Michelle Young. All of my news shows are having to watch how they present things sad and frustrating, but you were doing it. Thank you, Michelle. Salute to you. It is tough. It's people like you that make this palatable. Being on this platform. In fact, people like you make it great. So salute, Michelle. Thank you for being such a continuous, steady sponsor of the channel. Anyway, guys, I think I can get away. This is a U.S. ad. Anything produced by the government's fair game. So I can show this, I hope. All white guys. Now, I've never even seen a unit of all white guys in the military. I've been in the Army. I've never even seen anything like this. But anyway, this is the ad. Oh, this is a 101st Airborne patch on that guy's shoulder there. Chinook helicopter. Well, I can see it now. You'll go to war and you'll be happy. Like you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. Oh my gosh. Maybe just happy you survived a jump and didn't break a leg. Be all you can be. Yeah, I don't know. When I was in the Army, I didn't think that was all I could be, but anyway. Hezbollah threatens U.S. with anti-ship missiles. Yeah, was I talking about the Eisenhower? Yeah, I've just seen a bunch more articles about the Eisenhower. They're putting out a lot more articles about the Eisenhower than they are about the Ford. The Ford is the biggest aircraft carrier in the world, and it's out there now. So why are they talking so much about the Eisenhower? Yeah, and Eisenhower is either going through or just went through the Suez Canal, after that being the Red Sea, which is within the range. There you go, JoJo. Propaganda. Not very diverse. Exactly. Man, that's very uncharacteristic for our military of these days. They didn't even show any guys wearing lipstick or high heels. What's that all about? Yeah. They're desperate. Samuel Turner says Iran getting into the fray is a turning point, especially if they activate their sleeper cells. Amen. Amen. It's the sleeper cells that worry me more than anything. Salute to you, Samuel Turner. You're spot on as usual. Thank you, sir. Yeah. Alrighty, guys. A major supporter of this channel, Samuel Turner. Thank you. Laroff, West pushing Middle East toward major war. There he is, poker-faced Laroff. He's always so steady, kind of a sour-looking face. I don't know if I had his job, I'd probably be sour looking too, but he's always pretty even-handed about things, as a statesman would be. So let's talk here about what's cooking here. Israeli Defense Forces. What does Israel bring to the table? So we're going to go into this. We're going to talk the combatants now, because I promised this in my last live session that we would talk about the combatants. So when you look at the Israeli military, active duty, they've only got 169,500 active duty soldiers. They got a reserve personnel, though. Everybody in Israel just about has to go through the military, which gives them a fairly good reserve, but it's 465,000. So, it's not a ginormous military. Now, it's larger than the Houthis and well, not by a long shot, though. It's larger than Hamas. It's larger than Hezbollah. But when you're going into a compound or you're invading some other area, you typically need a 4-to-1 advantage over the people you're going in against. Israelis supposedly right now are committing about 30,000 troops to the combat with Hamas. And that's about the same order as the number of the Hamas organization. I'll show you that in a minute. But see, Israel's got to also keep other forces out there because they've got to be ready to be hit by others. So they can't commit everything they got to Hamas, at least not yet. They're trying to avoid that, but they've actually split Gaza. Some people are claiming it's all for a canal. Well, those that claim it's all for a canal forget who hit first on the 7th of October. And maybe a canal's into play, but I don't. It's still a long way past Gaza to get the Red Sea through Israel. All right. This is the article about Hamas. I wish it quit playing this stuff every time you open it up. I think this article talks about them. They're on the order of 30,000 force, although I've seen 18,000 to 45 in another article, which I think I'll bring up. Where is that? There we go. Israel estimates the group has about 30,000 fighters and an arsenal of rockets and unmanned drones. Now, most of their rockets are home-built sugar rockets of large size. Cost of less than $500, and Israel has to shoot a missile at it worth tens of thousands, at least maybe hundreds of thousands to take them down. So cost-wise, the advantage on that goes to Hamas, but the Iron Dome run out of missiles if they keep throwing enough stuff at it. Maybe Hamas don't have enough, but Hezbollah is reported to have up to 150,000 missiles, which are more sophisticated than the ones that Hamas has. Of course, the Houthis are sending missiles into space over 1,200 miles. So, guys, the Houthis are well armed. Now, this is the actual name, I guess, of the Hamas military. The Izz-ad-Din al-Qassam brigades. I hope I said that somewhat close to being right. So, and here they're estimating their forces to be, I think, 18 to 45,000. But Israel is saying it's like 30. So that's Hamas. Now, the Houthis are interesting. The Houthis are very, very interesting. And I hate it when you open these sites. It throws it back to the top because I had to scroll down to the point of interest in here. I got to go down and find it again, which I did not want to do. It's not good to be. All right. As of September 2019, 4 years ago, their estimated strength of the Houthis was 180,000 to 200,000 armed men with access to weapons from tanks, technical vehicles, anti-tank guided missiles, and as we see now, long-range ballistic missiles. So, yeah, Lebanon getting hit from the sky, Chuck. I hate being Lebanon. Lebanon's very much a divided country these days. It used to be the only Christian nation in that area, but that's no longer the case. So the Houthis are a rebel group in Yemen. They have been fighting. They're actually Sunni. Excuse me. They're a Shia Muslim, like Iran. They are an Iranian proxy group and armed very significantly by Iran. How does this group come up with missiles that transit space and fire 1,200 miles as a rebel group based out of Yemen? Who imagined the first space war would be launched by the Houthis? But that's what's happened, guys. Wow, this war is getting unimaginable. It's like science fiction already. Or biblical, maybe a better analogy. Hezbollah. Now, Hezbollah, let's see here. I'm going through so many articles, and they're not all organized the same. So, yeah, the rocket count, 40,000 to 150,000. Later sources I've been seeing have been focused more on the 150,000 missiles, rockets, whatever you want to call them. So they're Hezbollah is about a similar size force, according to these articles, as Hamas. So that's hard to say, even though the the leader, Hassan Nasrallah, he claims that they've got 100,000 trained fighters. That's pretty significant. That's, That's a little better than half the number of regulars in Israeli Defense Force, IDF. So some people are saying, well, there are only 25,000 full-time with 20 to 30,000 reservists. So there's different claims out there. What's the reality? Probably somewhere in between all that. But Hamas is still a very significant force. They've got a lot of rockets. So that's what's at play here. All right, let's go in and look at some of the other forces. Iran. Now, you might say all this right now is really from the Western side set up to target Iran. Iran is a country that if the United States were to fight them and not have to deal with Russia and China and everybody else, our weaponry is far more sophisticated. And the Islamic Republic of Iran does not have the aircraft that we have. They're using old aircraft, from the Shah days, basically, that they've been patching together, maybe some old Russian stuff. But they have very, very extensive anti-aircraft missile systems and deep, deep bunkers. They can launch satellites, which means they can launch intercontinental ballistic missiles. And they may already have nuclear warheads, a couple or 2 to 4, from what I hear from the days when the Soviet Union fell out of Kazakhstan, and they're trying to develop their own indigenous homemade nuclear weapons. And they're apparently on the cusp of it. And this may be really what some of this is all about. This may be why we're moving so many chess pieces in place down there, is there may be a plan to take out their stuff. An actual invasion by American forces of Iran, in Iran would probably be disastrous because the terrain of Iran is hot, hot desert and mountainous. It's worse than Afghanistan, and it's as large as most of Western Europe. Iran is a huge nation. Very, very difficult terrain, worse than Afghanistan, and they're armed to the teeth. And the Iranians are smart people. In case you guys don't know, the Iranians are not Arabs. We refer to them as Persians, but they're actually a Caucasian people. They resemble Greeks. They are Caucasian in Iran. In fact, the word Iran, the nation took Iran as their name by the suggestion of Hitler, because he was comparing them to the Aryans. That's what they are. They're actually Aryan people. They are the Aryan people. They're the most purest Aryan of anybody. So Aryan doesn't mean blonde hair and blue eyes. Where did Hitler get that stuff from? I don't know. But anyway, I don't know. He had some weird stuff going on in his head. But Iran's military has 610,000 active duty people. That's 3.5 times, or actually about 3.6 times larger than the Israeli forces. That's a huge army. And they got 350,000 reserve. The reserves are twice as big as Israel. Well, it's not quite as many as Israel's reserves, but taken together, they've got a much larger force than Israel. Much larger force than Israel, just Iran. So it says our total manpower, military manpower, it's almost 1,960,000. All right, so I don't know what we're talking about there with stray kitten, but anyway, so ballistic missile. They got a space program, not with a space shuttle. Why does this show the Iranian space program that pulls up a picture of our space shuttle? I don't know who writes these articles and puts this stuff together. But Iran is a very powerful nation. But Iran would prefer to not be directly engaged in the United States. They'd prefer to use their proxies, and they would prefer asymmetrical warfare. If we did hit them directly, they would probably turn on those sleeper cells, which would create mayhem here in this country and probably bring us to our knees, to our destruction, because asymmetric warfare from sleeper cells, it could take out our power grid, our dams, a lot of critical infrastructure. Essentially, if they just took out the power grid, we're done as a nation. We're finished. Go watch my video about farming that I just posted earlier today. There will be no farming, at least no major farms, nothing big. The food production in this country and a lot of the clothing, textile side of this country would come to an end. Yeah, you're going back to the Stone Age, my friends, if they pull this off on us. And they know it. So Turkey is actually threatened to come in on the side of Hamas against Israel. Turkey's a NATO nation. They're threatening to attack Israel. It might put Turkey and the United States into direct conflict if this were to take place. Turkey has a very large defense force too. Their active personnel is 425,000. Scroll that up. 425,000. That's 2.5 times larger than Israel's IDF active personnel. They have 380,000 reserve personnel, almost as many reserves as Israel. Collectively, that's also not a million, but it's darn close. But Turkey also has a very sophisticated military with all kind of naval power, ships, and they've got submarines, aircraft. They're very well armed. They are really well armed. Thank you, New Days, for posting that link. So this is nothing to be taken lightly. Nothing to be taken lightly. Turkey, if they get into the fray, is a major player. Now, Turkey is not really a great friend of Iran. Turkey Recep Erdogan has always had a dream about reestablishing a caliphate, to reestablish the Ottoman Empire. So maybe he would see this as his opportunity in that regards. Although the economic situation has not been good, it's kind of thrown a lot of water on that dream of his, but this might enable him to reignite it. And Jordan may not be a player in this. Jordan is a smaller force. They've been in a peace treaty with Israel and considered to be even an ally of the United States so far. But the people in Jordan don't like what's going on in Palestine. And a lot of the Jordanians are Palestinians living in exile. A lot of them. I've worked with a lot of Jordanians, and everyone I worked with happened to be Palestinian in origin. So Jordan has got a lot at stake there. And so Jordan has come out and made the following proclamation. They have said that if they're hit with a bunch of exiles, if the Gazans are displaced, then they'll go to war. That will come in on the side of Hamas. They will declare war if that happens. So now that would be a big switch from where they've been, but they don't have really a large force compared to Israel, but it's still big enough. It's on the order of approaching that 100,000 active duty personnel with 65,000 in reserve. So if they're in league with some other countries attacking Israel, it's easy to see how they could together outnumber the Israelis. Egypt. Egypt is also a nation that's been pro-Western pretty much ever since Menachem Begin and Anwar Sadat signed that peace treaty negotiated by President Peanut, Jimmy Carter. So ever since then, Egypt has been pretty much pro-Western and got a lot of support from the United States. They would like to stay out of this conflict if at all possible. Their people also, though, may be pro-conflict, and they don't want to see a bunch of refugees coming into their country from Gaza. So they're somewhat in a similar boat as Jordan. Egypt's got a very powerful military. They've got more people than Israel, you see, 438,000, with a reserve bigger than Israel's reserves, 479,000, or as big, about the same order of size, excuse me. So Egypt, hope they will stay out of this conflict, but they're no lightweight. Although we know Israel has beat single-handedly by themselves Syria and Jordan and Egypt all together once upon a time. So Iraq. Now Iraq, we overthrew Saddam and set a government up over there and had a green zone, and supposedly Iraq's kind of on our side, and we actually are the biggest military foreign suppliers of Iraq. China's not even on this list, guys, or Russia, which is kind of interesting, all Western countries. However, they are run by Sunnis. Excuse me. They're run by Shia Muslims. The government is very much allied philosophically and maybe otherwise with Iran. And there's a lot of Iranian proxies operating in Iraq, attacking our forces there. So it's possible that Iraq would come in on the side of Iran, especially if Iran's attacked. They probably would. They may also provide the conduit to allow Iranian forces to go through northern Iraq into Syria and down into Israel. And by the way, Iranians have amassed several large tank battalions on their border with Iraq. So they may have something cooking there for Iranian invasion should things get really hot. Then again, like I said, Iran will try to stay out of a direct conflict unless we attack them. We attack them, all bets are off. So now this is the Afghans. Now, why would I play Afghans? Because the Taliban basically has threatened and said, hey, if we can get passage, we'll go over and help Hamas. They've said, hey, we'll go over and send forces over to fight with Hamas if we get passage through the other countries. Well, it looks like the other countries probably are not going to be very resistive to this if it all breaks loose in a full-scale war. The Afghans have, and we armed Afghan, we've armed them. We've armed them very nicely when we ran out of that place. So thanks to President Potato and Milk Dud Powell, Boyd Powell, the Secretary of Defense, we have equipped these guys better than they've ever been equipped. We left Afghanistan with these guys stronger than they were before we went in the first place. Their active duty personnel is on par with Israel's active duty personnel, 165,000, and they've got I don't know, some of this local 90,000 local militias. They got different figures here. Apparently, it's an all-volunteer military. They could change that in a moment's notice. So let's come home. Let's talk about the United States of America. Who do we have? What kind of forces does the United States of America bring to fore here? We've got 6 branches of our military. We got the Army, the Navy, we got the Marine Corps, we've got the Air Force, we've got, of course, the Coast Guard and the Space Force, which is this pin on my hat, in case a lot of people know what that was. Some people, I get accused of all kind of stuff. People, what's that pin on your hat, Greg? Russians use scalar weapons today. I used to know Tom Bearden. He used to write about that stuff a lot. I think he's passed away now. A lot of questions about that stuff. So the United States, let's see, what do we have? Our active duty personnel is 1,328,000. We're the 3rd largest military in the world. Our reserves are 799,500. Now, guys, but we can't put all these forces in one place. We're patrolling the entire world. We got forces based and stationed everywhere, here at home, overseas, in many, many places, Europe, Asia, Mideast, Africa, which we got no business being in Africa. But we've got forces all over the place. A lot of places we shouldn't have them, to be honest, in my humble opinion. I remember our founding fathers actually did not want us involved in foreign engagements. Maybe we should have been listening a little more carefully. Those were some wise old men. Anyway, guys, so yeah, we have large expenditures, $816.7 billion, but we buy a lot of high-tech weapons. A lot of it goes for making high-precision, long-range artillery at the expense of having just regular artillery. So you go through those rounds really quick and you run out, and then you don't have any regular artillery to back you up. Because we gave so much of it away in Europe and other places, mainly in Europe lately. So, hey, there you go. New days, that's right, folks. We need some thumbs up because I need some help on this platform because they're demonetizing most of my videos now. So, and probably shadow banning me. So help me out, guys. So help me out with these algors that have no rhythm. If you're not picking up what I'm putting down, if you're not liking what I got to say, tell me why in the chat room. Taz, read the Bible, says John. Okay, guys. So here we are, Russia. Russia has the 5th largest army with 1,150,000 active personnel. Amongst them, they put 200,000 to 400,000 on the different numbers into Ukraine right now. Not all of their forces. They have to also patrol their other regions in the country. They worry about other invasions. They even worry a little bit about China. I'm seeing lately where China's making eyes again at Vladivostok, which used to be a Chinese possession. That so even though they're allies, we forced a bear into the dragon's lap, and it's there's supposedly this great alliance between them. But if we disappeared, they would go at each other. Bet on that. So if 200 plus bases, permanent, not counting. Okay, there drops. So they have a very large military in Russia. Russians, and a lot of people making fun of them, how they're right now expending so many people in the war with Ukraine. But that's been the Russian style for war from way back. They just throw a lot of cannon fodder at it until eventually they win, because they've always been able to win through attrition. And against Ukraine, that's on the Russian side, because Ukraine does not have near this many forces, or the population to draw from, or the manufacturing to draw from, or that Russia has. And Russia is getting supplied very nicely from North Korea and Iran right now for various things. So North Korea is sending a lot of artillery to Russia right now in exchange for missile technology. So Britain is in this too, guys. Britain is getting into this. They got their forces everywhere, but Britain's military is not that large, all things said, because Britain has just a little bit more people than Israel. 198,763. Now, how they know that 3 is still the right number? Somebody might have tripped and passed away. You just don't know. That's I get amazed when they get such exact numbers here in these websites. They're active duty personnel. That's their active duty. The reserves are not that big. Reserves are only 80,700. Deployed personnel, so they got less than 6,000 actually deployed. So Britain, that used to be the empire the sun never set on, used to be the most powerful military on earth, is a mere shadow of its former self. But they do have nukes. They've got nuclear submarines. They've got ships, and they have a blue water navy. So they are formidable, even if they are small. The French, well, the French are in this too, because the French have made some overtones about Hamas and supporting things, but the French are mainly kind of wrapped up with Africa, maybe pulling out of Africa. Of course, the chief of the armed forces is their president, Macaroni. I said that purposefully. They have 203,250. Again, some really exact numbers of active duty personnel. Reserves are small at 41,000, but they got less than 4,000 deployed. No wonder they're losing Africa. Oh, Lord. So, they're getting kicked out a lot of places. Ukraine. The Ukrainians, of course, are in the middle of combat. They've got something on the order of 200,000 troops. Now, that's a big round number. Says, need to question and verify, according to this source here. Well, that's because they got people. They can't put an exact number there because they're losing people by the minute. And they're also adding people, I suppose. The Israeli military's average age is 43, which is above the age of recruitment in America. You just couldn't join it at that age. So they're having the Derringers having a good laugh at me calling him macaroni. Yeah, I don't care too much about him. That was probably obvious, right? Macaroni, President Potato Head. These world leaders, none of them impress me. There's no current world leader that's anywhere big on the stage that I'm impressed with. So just keep that in mind, guys, because they're playing us all against each other. So I don't trust any of the governments. They all force us against each other, and to them, we're all cannon fodder. We're all pawns. We're all something to use and consume for their own power and aggrandizement. Don't forget that. They're not there to serve you. They want to serve us on a platter. So just keep that in mind. Don't these world leaders are despicable. They're the scum that floats to the top of the pond or cesspool. Well, we're not a cesspool, but they float. You know what floats, right, guys? So, but Ukraine, that's what I'm saying. It takes though usually a force 4 times as big to invade. Maybe that's why the Russians had such a tough time. But Russia's not giving up. Over the end, if Russia stays with it, they might well win that war. And now they're making noises about saying that one day the Russian flags will fly over Berlin. Poland sees itself as a target. Lithuania sees itself as a target. And of course, Russians have now flown their aircraft over Lithuanian airspace. So, guys, where are we going? Poland. Poland has a goal of having the largest military in Europe. I guess that means outside of Ukraine, maybe. So they're planning to grow. So the numbers here might be a little outdated because their active duty personnel is 180,830 as of sometime in 2023. The reserves only about 100,000 deployed. They got 30,000 deployed within NATO as part of the NATO forces. I'm not taking NATO collective. I'm just talking about some of the key countries. The military armed forces collectively, all of them, in Germany is part of the Bundeswehr. I don't know how you say that exactly. Ich spreche Kleindeutsch. So I don't speak any German. Except to hear people talking German. I say, woher kommen Sie? I'll mess with them a little bit and I'll tell them that as a response. I always get a good laugh with that. But anyway, so they've got the Germans have the 30th largest military in the world. It's not that impressive. They've only got, let's see, 181,500, again, the exact number is 596 active duty personnel with 80,890 civilians. Wait a minute. What is that? Where's the reserves at? Let's go down here and see what it says down here. 181,596. At least the numbers match. And the reserve, okay, the reserve is 34,000, only 2,000 deployed. Wow. I suppose that's part of the NATO force. I don't know. So interesting. All right, China, the People's Liberation Army has the largest military in the world, with the second largest budget. But you got to remember, money goes a lot further in China, much further. So that's a misnomer. You can't go apples to apples what the U.S. spends versus what China spends. It don't even make sense to even talk about it because China gets so much more bang for their buck. So that's a total misappropriation of logic that I see all the time in the news media. But anyway, so I'll just correct that as a point of speaking here. But they have over 2 million active personnel, 2,035,000, and they have a reserve of 510,000. Guys, that's a huge reserve. That's a huge military. They are modernizing faster than anybody in the world. They've changed their whole economy. What was their manufacturing economy has been switched over to a military economy. That's how they're trying to make up for all their economic woes over there. Xi Jinping is arming China to the teeth as fast as he can go. Why would he do that? Is it so they can grow roses? I don't think so. India has the second largest army in the world. India may get into it with China. If you read prophecies, you read these prophecies about a 200 million man army that's supposed to take out a quarter of the world's population and cross the Tigris and Euphrates rivers one day. And Euphrates is said to go dry. Well, according to the CI World Fact Book, something like 20 years ago, it was citing both India and China as being capable of sourcing 200 million man armies. So they'd rather attack each other. So, guys, what's going to happen here? Does China go through India to get to the Middle East? Is that what's going to happen? I don't know, guys, but that would be definitely something that might take out a major fraction of the world's population, as suggested by the final book in the good book. Alrighty, guys. So now Pakistan is the mortal enemy of India, but Pakistan has lots of nukes. And the Pakistanis have just come out, as I reported a few weeks ago, and says, hey, our nukes are Muslim nukes, are available as needed for the Muslim world. So will these come into play with the Israeli-Hamas conflict? Would Pakistan source nukes to other nations? Well, they've just pretty much suggested it. Would they participate in the war over there? That is possible. By the way, India has taken Israel's side, just for a point of record. So how all this will turn out is, who knows, guys? This could be a major conflagration, but Pakistan has, let's see, 654,000 active personnel. It's the sixth largest military in the world, with 550,000 reserves, far more than Israel has. Far more than Israel. Again, what's that, about 3.5 times as many troops as Israel has? But a lot of them, they can't send all their troops to Israel because they got to stand ready to deal with India if they have to. So now this is the Republic of China. This is Taiwan, which was the Chinese government before they were pushed into exile. They've never been part of the People's Republic of China. Hey, Cowgirl in Arizona. I'm heading that way tomorrow morning. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Let's see here. They have active personnel of 215,000. So it's kind of like Israel. But they have a huge reserve, over 2 million reserve personnel, 2,310,000. So, you know, China will have to pack a lunch if they want, when they decide to invade Taiwan. They will have to pack a lunch because that's going to be a difficult proposition to them unless they can get them to surrender through blockades and starvation or something like that, which is a likely route. Now, the Philippines is trying to get everybody allied with them to stand against China, because China is really abusing the Philippines in the South China Sea, and the Philippines are tired of it because they're taking away all their fishing rights. China just went in and taken area and territory that should belong to the Philippines, and about a total of 7 nations that border around the South China Sea, and they're doing with it what they want to, and the Philippines are fed up with it. So the Philippines are allowing the United States to build, you know, they kicked us out, but now they've invited us back in to build military bases again because they realize that they need American help. And we actually are allied with the Philippines. We've got a treaty that says we'll defend the Philippines. Yeah, Cowgirl's got a property that's probably less miles from my place, and I got fingers and thumbs sticking up. She's got an acre really close by where I'm at. Really close. Of all my subscribers, her property is closest. I have other subscribers that are close also, very close. So, but she is probably the closest. So, all right, guys. Well, wait a minute. I do have a new subscriber that's 2 properties over, less than a half mile away. So, so anyway, guys. So, but she's the closest of anybody that's in here. So the Philippines only have 150,000 active personnel, very small, but their active ready reserves are 1.2 million. So the Philippines has quite a reserve contingency. So they are getting tired of getting pushed around by China. They're getting fed up with it. And some people think WWIII might actually start in the South China Sea. I'd say we probably are already in WWIII. We just haven't recognized it yet or named it that. But it's probably already in progress, especially with, and you might say it even started in 2014 when Russia took Crimea. I don't know, guys. You could draw many lines in the sand. You could say it started when World War I started. It's just a continuation of the same old stuff by other names and other events. So Japan, the Japanese Defense Forces. Now, Japan, you know, was something of a pacifist nation constitutionally, but they've recognized the threat from China. China's trying to claim islands that belong to. Oh yeah, by the way, Taiwan belonged to Japan until the Republic of China went there in exile, and they gave it to China. They gave it to the Republic of China, not to the People's Republic of China. So at no time did Taiwan, the island of Formosa, ever belong to the People's Republic of China, and never was the Republic of China government under, in any way, the People's Republic of China. So basically, there are two nations, but to say that is verboten. Oops, I might have said more than I should have said here. But anyway, guys, so what does Japan actually has a blue water navy, more so even than China. China has the largest navy, but most of it is geared toward being able to defend their coastal area and the areas within the first island chain, which includes Japan. So the Japanese military is only 247,150, and again, a pretty exact number of active personnel, the reserve of only 56,000. But they're trying to beef up their military. But Japan may be our ally against either North Korea, because North Korea is firing missiles across them all the time, and against China. They may also, so they're very likely to be involved in this. Very, very likely. Australia is also very likely to get pulled into this. Australia is going to get a new, they're part of the AUKUS now, the Quad 4. They're going to be getting nuclear-powered submarines. That doesn't mean they're going to have nuclear weapons, but nuclear-powered submarines, which China equates with being nuclear weapons. But the active military personnel of Australia, the continent, a very large nation and land area, they only got 60,000 people, 60,330 people, which would make them pretty easy probably for China to invade. The reserves are less than 30,000, 29,740. And we got Rodney in the house. Well, I know one thing. If they go after Australia, Rodney can definitely make some nice knives for the Australians to defend themselves with. So I got one. Anyway, guys, so but Australia is likely to be involved in this too. Now, Korea is maybe where all this kicks off. There's been recent articles where North Korea is claiming if South Korea keeps sending balloons over their land, dropping leaflets, that they'll shell the heck out of South Korea. North Korea has a vast amount of artillery that could just about already deployed. They could level with just artillery rounds Seoul, which is the capital of South Korea. So it could get very ugly there. But the South Koreans are good combatants. The Turks fought with the UN forces against North Korea. The Turks also were known in the South Korean War to be very strong combatants, very formidable. But the military size in South Korea, they got the fourth largest army at 1,320,000. Wait a minute. I'm on the wrong Korea here. This is North Korea. Pardon me. North Korea's got a bigger military. I just realized this is North Korea. North Korea's got 1,320,000. I just realized that size. That's bigger. That's too big for South Korea. With 560,000 reserves. Now, they don't have aircraft or an air force to brag about. Their air force stinks, but they've got missiles. They've got nuclear weapons. Pardon me, I was on the wrong Korea. All right, here. Now, this is South Korea. Pardon me. This is the Republic of Korea. You can see their active duty personnel is less than half the size of North Korea, 500,000. That's how I knew I was on the wrong article. But they've got a large reserve of 310 million people, and they may need them. So South Koreans they're tough fighters, guys. They really are. So now here's kind of a recap worldwide of the military forces. And this thing resorted on me. So let's sort it on active military the other way. So you can see that when you sort this, you can see the militaries of the world by size. China being the largest, over 2 million. India being the second largest with over 1.4 million. United States over 1.3 million, third largest. North Korea being next in line at 1.28. Russia is the fifth. Pakistan is the sixth largest military. Iran, the seventh. South Korea is number 8. Now, Vietnam might chime in against China. You know, the communist nation, they're being challenged by China. Vietnam and China have fought before, and Vietnam beat China. So Vietnamese are, you know, they were ready for that. Egypt has got the 10th largest military. Turkey, the 11th. Myanmar is actually pretty big. Indonesia may come into this against China. Brazil, who knows what Brazil's going to do. Brazil right now don't like us. Depends on who gets elected there. Brazil's come out of the United States. They get commies and conservatives running against each other. Right now, the leftists seem to be in control. Thailand is anybody's guess on this, but Thailand's got the 15th largest military. So you can see down the list here, Afghanistan's got the 18th largest military, well equipped by the United States, larger than the military of Japan by a little bit. Saudi Arabia packs a pretty good military, but no reserves. Mexico, 216,000. Ukraine is the 22nd largest, followed by France. Eritrea, look at that, over 200,000. See, you got Iraq's here, you got to go on down. Israel is the 30th largest. So all these countries have got larger militaries than Israel, and a lot of them are arrayed against Israel. Syria's military is on par with Israel. Then you get into Italy, Bangladesh, Taiwan, Philippines. We've talked those. So you can go on down and see all these countries or militaries and how they compare and stack up. Yemen, 40,000. Launching missiles that get shot down in space. Wow. Imagine that. Who would have thought that 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 2 days ago? Wow. Who would have thought that? Military per capita. This is how big the military is per how many people they got. You can see when you look at that, the ones that really stick out are the Koreas, Cuba. Those are red. They got over 100 people for every 1,000 in the military. That's crazy. Yeah, so military is very big in those areas. Taiwan, because they know they got to defend themselves from China. Vietnam is pretty high. I guess that's Eritrea over here. So, wow, guys, isn't that something? So look at that chart. United States is way down the list here when you look at it on per capita basis. Even Canada, well, not Canada's the greener is less. Okay, so there you are, guys. Russia's pretty high on the list in terms of people. And look here, Ukraine. These countries here are really worried about Russia. They got large military. So if you want to look at it graphically, that's what it looks like graphically. This is what the terrain looks like in Iran in terms of desert. Let's stop this. Let's go to Google Earth and look at some of this stuff in Google Earth. And we'll come back here in a minute. Stop share. Bing, bing. Hello. How long have we been in the room here? 63 minutes. Really pushing. China attacked in 1977 and could only advance 3.8 miles into Vietnam. Chinese were no match for the Vietnamese who had been fighting the U.S. That's right. So, yeah, they had quite a bit of combat experience. Question is, who has stuff in space? Iran, North Korea. And, of course, the United States, Russia, and China, and India. Israel's launched into space. All right, guys, so let's go look at another share screen. Make sure I got it open so I can share it. Shrink it down a little bit here so I can manage my tabs. And we're going to go look at Google Earth. Share screen. Let's go to planet Earth, guys. Don't see any intelligent life. All right, this is the grand scheme of things. Look at how big Iran is. See, Iran is huge compared to Western Europe. It's huge. It's large. Let's go and look at this, guys. And it is very mountainous. Hot, dry desert and extremely mountainous and huge. And Tehran, the capital, is way inland. And they have the ability to choke off just through their little cheap naval ships that they have. They could actually choke off the Strait of Hormuz that would block over 20 to 25% of the world's oil supply. It would wreck the world economically if they only did that. So Iran has got this huge land. Invading Iran would be an awful proposition to consider. I don't see, we might make a raid into Iran, but actually an invasion, I do not think it would be successful. We've done war games that said we would not win, and I think that's probably the case. That would be a tough proposition. But now Iraq is a Shia nation, which is very friendly with Iran, although the Shias are mostly down here. You got the Kurds up here, and you got some Sunnis in here. So how would Iran try to get across to Syria? Maybe it'd be down here, but Iran would find a route to Syria, and from there they could come in through Lebanon and down into Israel and hit if they so choose, or Golan Heights, or somehow Iran might get forces in here, or maybe Iran, in the book before they cross these rivers, it's considered 4 demons crossing. So who would be the 4 nations that might come in and make an invasion like that? Iran might be one. China might be one. Afghanistan, Pakistan. There's many candidates over here that might ally with China to make that river crossing with the 200 million, if that were to happen. A bit off topic. Are you going to have rabbits again? I hope so, wheelchair user. That's the plan. I'm hoping to move the rabbits I got, although the cost of fuel probably greatly exceeds the price of rabbits. So I got to really think about that one. Anyway, guys, so we have about $400 in fuel. I got enough for it's questionable. It might be a positive proposition when you take the rabbits I got. So I got a cargo van that I'd transport the rabbits in. All right, guys. So yeah, Iran, we're talking about a prophetic battle theoretically, but Iran is massing tanks over here. They're massing tanks. Of course, going across the rivers would suggest they're probably coming in down through here. Would Jordan let them in? Well, Jordan has got certain provisions for which they said they would attack if the Gazans are displaced. So they might even come in through Jordan. They might even come in through Syria. I don't know what the route would be, guys, but Iran would probably love to be able to invade if we have a full-scale war, but they really would prefer to fight the war through proxies. But if we attack Iran directly, if Israel attacks Iran directly, it's been said that they would to take out any nuclear facilities when Iran's on the cusp of producing a nuke, which they are, which just may have a lot to do with what's going on, especially while we're putting so many forces in play. Because see, when it comes down to Israel and just Hamas, Israel could take care of Hamas and Hezbollah by themselves, because they have dealt with things like that. So why in the world are we arraying so many forces in that area? And why are we talking about hitting Iran? Because one, Iran is using proxies attacking American troops, but I think there's more to that. Just how would that canal run? There's still a lot of land outside of there to get anywhere else. And you'd have to dredge this river out here quite a bit or something. I don't know, it'd be tough to put a canal in like some people are talking about. I don't know. Maybe that's in the cards, but I don't know, guys. That's a long canal. They're going to make it through all this while they got to go through Gaza to do it. I don't know. Don't know. But in any event, maybe that's in the cards. But people that say that's the reason, I think you're forgetting that little thing that happened on the 7th of October. All right, folks. So once you get through the Suez Canal, this is a pretty narrow strait for an aircraft carrier to move through. Even if this is a pretty good sized sea, the Red Sea is, but if you know where if you got intelligence sources along the shores, are in the air with drones, and we know that Yemenis have a lot of drones, then Yemen could launch an attack. This is Yemen down here, guys. They might go for attacking our aircraft carrier groups. The Houthis have already said they got missiles to use for that. And the Yemenis have been firing missiles into Israel. Now, so if you look at it, so if you come somewhere, I don't know, they could be firing from all, I don't know where they're firing from. Is it all the way down here? Is it somewhere up here? Let's say if it's up here and you're firing into Israel, we got to fire to be effective. There ain't much down here. They'd be firing somewhere up around here. Tel Aviv would be a good target, somewhere around Jerusalem. What is that? That's almost 1,200 miles. That is an impressive for a rebel group to be launching missiles through space across 1,200 miles in another country. You got to grant them one thing. They got a big set of them. They got a big pair or something down there. But holy smoke, guys, that's quite an achievement for the Yemenis, even if the missiles are being given to them, as they probably are from over here, from Iran. That's why the Israelis will view such attacks as being sponsored by Iran. Of course they are. So this is why an Iranian war may be cooking. An Iranian war threatens us, guys, right here at home. Stop the share. Halo. We're going to go back and look at just a couple of other articles. We're going to end this in a little bit, guys. I got to get up and pack my van and get the heck out on the road tomorrow morning. Don't forget your cats. Yeah, I got only one cat left. I think one of my cats took a combat against a raccoon that was probably stealing his food and didn't fare too well. So, guys, sleeper cells. I'm seeing articles. I'm seeing videos come out on other channels. They just discovered sleeper cells. Oh, sleeper cells. And they're getting over 100,000 hits. Oh, really? I've been talking about this for almost 5 years on this channel. Sleeper cells. Talking about it a lot. Nobody else is talking about it for years. Just Green Rigs. Yet these other channels are getting zillions of views. And they just discovered them. Oh, there's this thing called sleeper cells. Oh my God. They go and make a video and it goes viral. Really? I've been talking about this forever. I'm the guy I'm the only YouTuber who's chaired 2 power grid defense conferences. I am an engineer. I am an electrical engineer. I'm a space engineer. I have been involved in these things for years. I know something about it. And I'm a farmer and a worm farmer. So, guys, the whole idea that these channels are, what's happening is we're being suppressed over here in Green Rigs. That's what I'm thinking, guys. So share my videos. Please share my videos, guys. Go out and share them. Spread the word. People need to see the stuff. Go back and look at some older videos on these topics. Maybe I should do one just talking sleeper cells only. I've done that. And you got maybe 2,000 views. Somebody else comes out and makes a brand new discovery. Oh, sleeper cells. And boom, over 100,000 views. It's instant. Snap a finger in a matter of a couple of days. I never had a video get 100,000 views in a couple of days. I got one video. It's got 500,000 views on it now. But that's the 5 key things about raising worms. I got maybe this many or less other videos that hit 100,000, but it took them a long time to get there. So y'all help me out. Share my videos. Give me some thumbs up. We got 250 people in the room right now and on 146 thumbs up. So help my channel out, guys. Greg, you are too smart for the average person to understand. Oh, I'm sorry. I try to bring it down, but if I'm not putting it out where you guys comprehend what I'm saying, tell me. Greg, can you please go to Rumble? I could say a little bit more on Rumble, and I do have a channel on Rumble. It's just, I'll bet it, I just don't get many views over there. So, and actually, I've got enough views on Rumble that I should have earned something more than 4 cents on it already. I got quite a number of views over there, but it's not doing nothing in the earnings category. So I don't know. Rumble's a place to go when I really just want to fuss, I guess, and I need to do that. Worms from Mars. There you go. There you go. They're going to need them. I live in Arizona, not far from Greg's new place. Mostly Mormons. That's true. That's true. But hey, the good thing about it is those guys prep. They're required in their religion to have a year's storage of food, but what they strive for around there is 10 years. 10 years. So, and the regular folks that are in there the fraction of preppers is far higher than your average community. And it's a very close knit, small community. And anybody coming in from outside, this kind of sticks out. So, which is a good thing. Yeah, I'm having some issues using Rumble. I can't even figure out how to go live over there yet. So, this application I'm using, Zoom, don't support Rumble apparently. So I got to use some other application to go live on Rumble. Like right now, Greg has 3,700 views on his channel on my phone. 3,700 views. Yeah, it should be a lot more, guys. So y'all share my videos. Y'all can help me out. Go in and chat in my videos, because I've been talking about this stuff for a long time. I've been talking about the threat of it, and I've been talking about things you can do to be prepared. And I'm really a big advocate of growing your own food, because just watch my farm video I just did. When the grid goes down, there's not going to be any farming. Not the big farms. The homesteads are the only thing that's going to be producing food. Not the big major agricultural farms. They're going to be kaput. They're going to be nothing. And that's what's feeding this country. That's what's feeding the livestock. That's what's feeding the chickens in the chicken houses, the layers where the eggs are coming from. All that's going to be gone. So I'll tell you guys, you better get you some long-term food storage of some kind. Go with prepwithgregs.com. You better get you some seeds, stock up on them, get tools. A lot of people are always asking about, well, Greg, what do I do to protect my electronics? Well, Faraday cages, and I've covered that in my Surviving EMP video. But guys, all that stuff is going to have a limited shelf life period. All devices break down. Spare parts aren't going to be available. At some point in time, you're going to be reliant on hand tools. So gear up. Get you some hand tools. The muscle power. You know, that's what you're going to have to run with, guys. That's what it's going to take. Thank you, Jason. Minerals are important. They are, Chuck Norris. I'm on Twitter. I haven't posted anything there, so I haven't really engaged in Twitter. Maybe I need to do that. That's just one more thing to do, though. That's kind of tough. I'm already got very little limited time. Most valuable stuff will be heirloom seeds, not gold and silver. Yes, but heirloom seeds is going to be very valuable. Go to my links to True Leaf Market and Eden Brothers and check those out, guys. That is going to be gold. So much so, I did a video talking about the Cherokee Indians when they were evicted onto the Trail of Tears. They sowed seeds into their clothing to hide them, because almost everything they had was subject to be taken by the forces that were putting them on that long march into Oklahoma. Indians coming out of, western North Carolina, eastern Tennessee, northeast Alabama, northwest Georgia, and all through the South were marched out. And I guess the Cherokee had one of the longest marches. It was known as the Trail of Tears, because they lost about half the people that were on that march. It was devastating to them. But, when somebody would die, the other Indians would take their clothing. And American troops thought that was just horrific. What are they taking their clothes for? They thought that was barbaric. What they didn't realize was their livelihood depended on what was sewn into the fabric, seeds, because that was worth more than gold. Some of them had gold. They buried it. Years later, my grandmother told me about some Indians coming from Oklahoma looking for gold, because they buried it. The seeds they couldn't afford to bury. They had to have those seeds. Their life depended on it. So much so that they hid them in their clothing. I think I called it the Seeds of Survival or something. It was a video I posted probably 4 years ago. Yeah, you can go back and see that, guys. That is crucial. Very crucial. I think we should have at least 1 year of food and heirloom seeds before after that is correct. Yeah. And you need to have more than what it takes to plant your garden. You need to have at least 2 times as much, because your first, you might have a late frost. A volcano may go off and, give a mid-season cold spell that wipe out the crops. There's all kind of, the nuclear winter might occur. There's all kind of things that may occur. And a nuclear winter may be another reason you need the long-term food storage, because you may not be able to grow anything for a few years. We're looking at World War III, guys. World War III. And, there's all kind of things that may come upon us now. And a lot of volcanoes are starting to pick up. There's Campi Fergie, or however you say that, over in Naples, that they think may go off as a super volcano. That may change our climate. Even Mount Pinatubo cooled things down a little bit when it went off in the Philippines. Something not taught. What's D8? Jesse, talk to us. Yeah, but the gold is something you can trade with. It will have some value. That's why I do talk about it. You can get gold backs, as New Day just posted. This is 1,000 for the troy ounce. This particular bill here. And this is a Wyoming bill. It don't mean it's just good in Wyoming. It's good for anybody that would barter with me for this bill. And it's very flexible. You can put it in your wallet. It's just gold. And it's because it's a small amount, it's fungible. I mean, you can buy small things with it, like 12-pack of eggs, loaf of bread. It's hard to do with gold. It comes in bullion. You have to shave it off and have scales and all kind of stuff. And all that. This is very convenient. And it's artwork, so it's worth more than just the weight of the gold. This is a piece of art. It's collectible. A limited edition. All right, guys. So, but if you go to defythegrid.com, you can buy bullion, you can buy silver, you can buy platinum, gold, you can get it in rounds and coins, or you can get it in gold backs. Take your pick. But they got a deal that says if you can find a better price somewhere else, they'll meet it or beat it. How do you beat that? So check it out if you're into that. Anyway, guys, let's go on back into share screen, and we're going to go back to yeah, we got to end this in a minute. I got to go, but we'll go back to our little tabs I had up. Excuse me, I got a bunch of windows here to juggle. Kind of hard to do. I need multiple screens. Maybe one day I can afford that. Let's see here. I hit the right screen to come in and do this from. Where's it at? There it is. Too many screens and tabs open. Here we go, guys. Ding, ding, ding. All right, just to talk about the economics of it all. In just 10 years, our debt is on track to exceed $50 trillion. I don't think it'll get there, because I don't think we'll get the credit. Who's going to keep buying our bonds? Who's going to finance the United States? Who's going to let us go? We're becoming a bad creditor. Who's going to let us go that far in debt? If you think that the government will stay together and will survive with its current spending spree to the full point, if you think this can happen, that the United States will actually stay together to reach $50 trillion in debt, put a 1 in the chat room. If you think that the wheels are going to come off the train before it gets there, put a 2 in the chat room. I want to see what y'all think about this. If we did get there, that's bad too. Either way, it's bad news. But I have a hard time believing that the United States government's going to be able to keep the wheels on the train to get to that level. So I'd like to see a vote. If you think you can go there and get to this level and everything will continue as is for the next 10 years, put a 1 in the chat room. If you don't think so, put a 2. Michelle's the first 2. Yeah, I see y'all pretty much in agreement with me. 2s. Yeah, I think though, I don't see our government's going to keep running, guys. I really don't. Not the way we're going now. It's being run into the ground. Let's see here. Yep, y'all agree. Let's see what Larry Smith's. Oops, stop that. Don't take action. Let me go back and see what Larry Smith's great tip was. Larry Smith, the vets from Vietnam would wrap T-shirts around their ankles and walk in the morning. Yeah, to collect dew. That is one way to do it. Yes, sir. To get water. That is a good tip. Good survival tip. I may have mentioned that in the video. I've seen that in other places too. That is a good tip. I probably can't even talk this video or this article, but a lot of weird things going on, guys. Maybe this is what got me in trouble last time, talking about this kind of stuff. Social media would not do anything to us now, would it? Like demonetize our videos, deplatform folks? No, they wouldn't do that. Again, check out Defy the Grid, guys. All kind of different plans on these gold backs. Good works of art, as you can see. But you can also get silver. You can get coins. Different things there. Check it out, guys. Defy the Grid. Oh, if you go to Defy the Grid, use discount code GreenGregs, and you'll get 1% off. All right. The sun. Got a big sunspot in 3477, but it don't look too bad there right now. Don't mean it can't get that way. They say we're reaching solar maximum earlier than normal, and they think it'll last longer than normal, which means more solar flares and more opportunity to take our grid down from the sun. Don't mean it will happen. It just means it's might be more probable. The auroras are not too active right now, which is probably a good thing. Geomagnetic storm watch canceled. Hey, we got good news. Doomsday has been canceled for at least 2 seconds, unless we have incoming missiles. We've had a couple of close passes here from asteroids back on the 7th of November. Come in 1/10 of the distance between the Earth and the Moon on our side of that, which means they were down around the geosynchronous satellites around, 22, 23,000 miles out, which is still about almost, over almost 4 times the diameter of Earth, which is 8,000 miles. So, so they were not close to being the diameter of Earth away, but they were close enough. These are close calls. Nothing that we know of coming at us are close calls. They always find these. These are always new discoveries. You see, they're all numbered 2023 with a high alphabetic number, VB, VD. That's a VO. So those are close stuff that we just discovered. The more of those discovered, the better off we'll be in predicting what the actual threats are. But those aren't large ones either. Those would be that was fairly fast, 18 kilometers per second. These would probably explode in the atmosphere, unless they're pure metallic. Then they might come down as a meteorite, or a shower of meteorites. So those aren't ones to be scared of, but there are city busters out there. And of course, there's things that would do the dinosaurs in. Wow, guys, this area over here in Texas has been pretty active. We got an active area over here. What, Indonesia? We'll have to go look at those. Otherwise, Turkey, South America, kind of the usual places. Puerto Rico, some stuff in Alaska. Well, that's a big one right there. 5.2. And the Kermadec Islands. I hope I said that close to being right. We have 211 trillion unfunded liabilities. Yeah, Marsha, how does the United States cover this? How does the wheel stay on the train? I really got to wonder that. These are down here in Texas. West Texas and southeastern New Mexico get hammered a lot in this area. See what the biggest one is. The biggest one's right there. 5.2. Colson Draw, Texas. I guess these are aftershocks. That area is rocking. 2.7. Mentone, Texas. Yeah, guys, look at that. This area is rocking right now. 5.2 is a pretty good size earthquake for that area. This area just keeps having earthquakes. Does anybody know why? Is it fracking or something else? All right. Mina, Nevada, 2.6. But here, look at Indonesia. This is pretty active right here. It's very active. And it's just north of you there, Rodney Middleton. Wow, that's a bunch of them. What a swarm right there. What is cooking here? That one's a 6.7 in the Banda Sea. Remember the Banda Aceh earthquake that created that big tsunami back a few years ago throughout the Indian Ocean? Wiped out a lot of people. Wow, this area is rocking. Indonesia, 4.9 there. Always a bunch of earthquakes up here in this sunken continent, as we now know it is. 5.2. Oh, yeah, I already mentioned that one. Anyway, guys, weather, I'm not going to go all through weather like I normally do just because it's already late and I got to get in bed, guys. So, because I got to get up. A lot of snow up here. A lot of snow. Looks like you got some rain and thunder down here in Australia. I'm going to do a little quick. It's actually kind of warm here. It's supposed to get down to like 62 maybe tonight where I'm at. But when I get over here to Snowflake, it's going to be in the low 20s. There's 64 in Huntsville right now. 64. Same temperature as Phoenix, Arizona. Tucson, where Cabron, Arizona is at right now, I suppose, is 61. Flagstaff, 35. And Snowflake is 43 right now, but Sholo's 39. Yeah, it's going to get cold out there when I get out there. A lot of snow up in Denver, Colorado Springs, all that area. Edmonton's 26. I do want to check out Fort Greely. Oh, wow. Fairbanks is warmed up to 32 degrees. Delta Junction's 32 degrees. Okay, Healy's 19. And the heat wave must be a Chinook blowing in with all this wind here. Valdez is 35. Homer, let's see, Anchorage is 30. All righty, folks, enough of all that. I'm not going to spend all night here going through weather like I usually do. Stop the share. So, folks, the word is that we're probably already in World War III. Oh, shoot, I messed up. What'd I do? Trying to hit the chat room and it took me somewhere else. Hang on. Hit the down button. Yeah, Drops has got a channel on Rumble. Check out his channel. Drops puts out a lot of stuff. Rain Atlanta, I don't post on YT anymore. Let's see. So you're bugging out, Greg? Well, that'll be my bug in location when I get there to get it all set up. Yeah, guys, it's time. It's time to bug out if you can. There's a fault line there, Gabby. It must be something, because that place is always shaking. A volcano in Texas? Jordana, are you serious? Wouldn't swap my potatoes for the biggest bar to go. Okay, John. Chemical explosion in Houston. Well, yeah, you can expect that kind of stuff in Houston. I always worried that Houston would be hit in terrorist activities. There's so many chemical plants and oil processing, petroleum processing, the ports there. Those could be huge targets for terrorist activities that would crush our economy due to our reliance on that area to provide energy, petroleum energy throughout the United States. So, dry riverbed, says Chuck Norris Gun Club. Paper is worthless unless you need toilet paper. There you go. You can eat mesquite pods. That's good to know there, Chuck Norris Gun Club. That's good to know. Even a thorny tree can lead to water. That's right. Yeah, I need to share that video. Filter and sanitize water. Everybody needs to watch that. You need to watch that, guys. Dig a well in the WWIII where you see a big tree. I got one. Yeah, two big cottonwoods growing in the wash, and it's got a sandy bottom there. Yeah, Larry Moore, Global Fiat. All right, Granny, you know how to get a hold of me. Get your sunchoke tubers now. You know what? My sunchokes got wiped out. I had some. When we got down to 9 degrees here last winter, they didn't come back this year. They're supposed to always come back. They didn't this time. They didn't come back at all. They were pretty much volunteer and returning. And after this last winter, they went, they couldn't handle it. Too cold to them. Maybe I should have harvested some seed and or some tubers and kept them. I didn't. So they gone. Patchy lived in lands you can't imagine. That's true. And thrived. They thrived. Thank you, New Days, for all the links you shared. Quite a few. We chat on news day. Thank you. I don't know. Who's harassing you? Cha Cha. Okay, Cha Cha. Who is harassing you? Like be like Abigail Adams. Is there not any way now that non-GMO seeds can be bought by these farmers for prepping sake? They could, but can they buy them at scale? And then how they going to plant them? They won't be able to plant them and harvest with the tractors or running. Oh, I got a story to show you. It'll be off where we go. I meant to tell a story or talk a little bit about my experiences with cotton in the video I did, and I forgot it when I was filming it. So I'm going to talk with you, and maybe I'll share this earlier in a volcano. Pilot Knob Volcano. Where's that, Jordana? Pilot Knob Volcano. Oh, potatoes. Let's see. I like sweet potatoes myself. Yeah, we might see a volcanic winter. Cha Cha, who is harassing you? Taz is harassing you? Taz, leave her alone. Where's Taz at? Back up. Let's see Taz in here. Don't harass Cha Cha, for Pete's sake. Good grief, guys. Let's be good to each other. We're family here. We're all family. Hey, where's Ace and haven't seen Ace in a little while. We normally have our good friend Zen Jammin. And she's the first thing he says when he comes in. We're family here. Oh, Taz, and he made a second name, Trent. Oh, I'm gonna have to watch him. Same dude. All right. If he misbehaves, we're gonna have to get him out of here. No harassing each other here, guys. He has said very cruel things to me for no reason. All right, mods, keep an eye out on this Taz Trent character. We don't, we're a freedom of speech channel, but freedom of speech don't include warrantless harassment. No point in that. Oh yeah, I love sweet potatoes, John. Be nice, exactly. Split personality might just be another way. Get him, says Gabby. All right, mods, keep an eye on this Taz Trent character. We don't need none of that. Cha Cha, you are a mod. Or use a live stream up. I just got here rewinding. All right. Well, you might want to catch it on rewind because we're going bye-bye. Oh, yeah. I'm going to share my story and we're going to go. I've already been on here longer than I'm meant to be. I got to get up in a little bit. I got a long drive ahead of me. It's many hours. And I got to finish packing my van. And I got to roll. I got to roll, folks. All righty, folks. So here's the deal. Reminds me, I need to harvest the turmeric. Yeah, I got some in the ground. It survived the cold spell, but my sunchokes didn't. So, good night, Chuck Norris. So let me tell you the little story. That's confirmed. Cha-Cha, Greg can ban him. Yeah, y'all just need to draw it out to me. If he goes too far, we'll knock him out. I can do that. All right, folks. So when I was a little kid, people were still picking cotton where I grew up. Now the cotton still grows right here, but they quit growing on Sand Mountain when soybeans come out because of the. I don't know if they ever picked back up again. They quit growing cotton on Sand Mountain in the early to mid 70s, early 70s. So maybe 72. By then, the cotton pickers were dominant. But back in the 60s, people, especially early 60s, people were still picking cotton by hand. And my oldest brothers would pick cotton. And what we used to do is I would crawl down in their pick sack and I would play in the cotton in the pick sack as they would throw it in. And they would drag me through the fields in the cotton pick sack while I was picking cotton. So I had me a little free ride in a pick sack, and I was playing with cotton. So for me, it was a fun thing. Or you block Trent Channel. Okay, very good, New Days. Yeah, I'm heading back to Arizona in the morning, hopefully. So, guys, another thing is we used to always keep a pile of it on my grandma's back porch for some reason. She would just pile it up there. I don't know what was piled. Maybe after the pick sack before they weighed it. But I'd crawl in that pile and I'd dig me out a tunnel, kind of like an igloo. And my grandmother always get on. She called me Greg. She never said Greg. Greg, that'll collapse and you'll suffocate. Okay, I didn't quite know what she was talking about. Didn't much care. Cotton's real clingy. You can dig tunnels in it. I was like a rat digging tunnels through that cotton, And I'd dig out a little hole and have me a little den inside. It looked like kind of like an igloo, big white pile of cotton with a hole going in it and a little den inside I'd make for myself. And I thought that was fun. That was good fun to me as a kid. And when I got a little bit bigger, probably 10 to 12, somewhere, I crawled up one of those big cotton trailers. Used to put it in trailers. And it would be a big trailer with high tops on it. And I'd climb up that trailer and go into it. And me and my buddies, we would dig straight down. We'd dig a foxhole. We'd dig all the way to the bottom of the trailer wagon. Then we'd dig tunnels out in different directions. Come back up. Well, we'd had a whole network of tunnels there. It's amazing. Probably it didn't cave in on us and we didn't suffocate. Fortunately, that didn't happen. It's possible it could happen. Maybe it has happened to some people. Roll Tide roll, says New Days. Well, thank you for that. So, anyway, we had some fun in the cotton, but for the people picking it, it was a tough job. I mean, people would actually get bloody fingers, and you've heard the songs about bloody fingers. Well, that cotton, the hulls are sharp, and on the very tip of them, not needle sharp, and you're trying to grab as much as you can, as fast as you can, and you got to pull it out, get it out. And when you're filling a pick sack up, somebody commented on that video and said their dad or granddad, I forget which one it was, would carry up to 275 pounds in a pick sack, and they'd pick 10 of those a day. So yeah, people would compete to see who'd pick the most. Not like today when people compete to see who do the least. And it was bragging rights who picked the most cotton. So plus you earn a little money from it. So, and the other things that people used to do, they'd chop cotton. Chopping cotton don't mean you chop the actual cotton plant. It was hoeing the fields out. People hoed fields back in the day. When I was a kid, seeing people out hoeing fields, I've done some of that myself. Get out in the field with a hoe and, chop corn, cotton. You would, that's how you weeded for Roundup. A lot of farmers were doing that back in the day. I knew guys who'd spend all day, day after day out in the cotton field with a hoe, hoeing it. Chopping cotton's what they called it. Lot of work.
Yeah, the holes are sharp, very sharp. So, Greg, you have turmeric growing indoors, almost 3 foot. Oh, mine is. Oh, what you got from me? You're growing some? Yeah, Niday's got turmeric from me. Mine's out there. I'll dig that up if I relocate. I don't have that much as I used to. I remember cutting tobacco for a mile. Oh wow, there you go. I've cut sugar syrup cane. We used to grow sorghum, and not the short solid stuff that you see in a lot of fields. Ours would grow like 6, 7 foot tall. You go through and you whack them down. I like that. I like cutting sorghum canes. I like being a soldier. Whack, 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 cutting that stuff down. And we used to strip it off and chew it. Sections of sorghum cane because it was sweet and it was nice to chew. And it made good syrup. Hey, nothing's better than a hot buttered biscuit with sorghum syrup on it. Well, there's two things I like: pear preserves and sorghum syrup on a hot buttered biscuit. So that was the day, guys. Greg, brother, do you still have microgreens trailer? Yeah, but I just shut it down. I still have it. I'm probably going to use the haul equipment to Arizona in it. Yeah, like sugarcane. Now, sorghum, you plant it from seeds. Sugarcane, you take the canes and section them off and plant the canes to grow new cane. So it reproduces differently, but aside from the seed head on top, it looks just almost like sugarcane. And you eat. I've seen where people grow sugarcane, the kids would be eating that stuff, and we would eat sorghum cane. Now I haven't seen sorghum cane growing like that in decades, but we used to grow a lot of it when I was a kid. So father started very young picking cotton. There you go. Well, my dad's generation, that's what they all did. They picked cotton, they hoed cotton, grew corn. Corn and cotton used to be the only crops. A milk cow, maybe. They used it for cows and pigs now. Yeah, yeah. Well, they love it. That's good for them. Probably beats that corn they're being fed. People were tough back then. Yeah, that's what we're going to have to go back to, guys. Back in the day, people were growing up on the farm, living on the homesteads. They consumed about 4,000 calories a day and were skinny as a roll because they worked their rear ends off. They weren't fat. They ate copious amounts of food. They had to have the fuel to do that. I remember when I'd be out hauling hay and working stuff, and my dad got a hay baler when I was a kid. I was probably 12-year-old or something like that, and I'd follow around and haul hay. And later, when I got a little bit bigger, I was running the hay baler myself, running all around the country, cutting, raking, and baling hay. I broke my arm once. So before I broke my arm, I was probably the strongest kid I knew. Right? But I messed my arm up bad when I broke it. I broke it right here in the middle. And that really threw me back quite a bit. I was told I couldn't play contact sports all the way through high school because the bone was so brittle back in the day. It was messed up pretty bad. And I used to, after I got out of the cast, it was bowed like a bow. You put a arrow string on. It had a big crook in it. But over time, if I used the arm, it straightened out, and it did. But cotton is king. Well, it was king way back when. Maybe it's getting that way again. Red has a lot. Yeah, I do. So I got to go, folks. But I wanted to share it with you. I meant to mention some of that when I was talking about the cotton earlier, and I just forgot it. So I'll share it with y'all now. Maybe I'll have to bring it up in another video early on, since this is late in this video. My parents were farmers and ranchers. There you go. Yep. Now, when I was growing up, our main thing that we grew was cattle. I had my own cows. We grew cattle. The Alabama Cattlemen's Association was the largest one in the world when I was a kid. There's a lot of farms and small farms and ranches in Alabama that had a lot of cattle. Tennessee's got a lot of cattle. Used to bale hay and chicken picking. There you go, Johnny B. Cotton used to be called white gold. Yeah, it was a lot of work, but it was the cash crop. It's nothing but a cash crop. But a lot of our clothing comes from it. And what are we going to do if the grid goes down? You think about that. Get ready. Get in your mind how to survive when there's no more power, when all the things we're used to in our world today are gone. I mean, gone. That's what you need to think about. And that may come, especially if those sleeper cells get activated. So, my friends, or we get an EMP, or the sun really gets active. Even a super volcano could set us back, guys. Black gold and Texas tea, or yeah, oh, that's right, Larry Smith. Makes me think of let me tell you a story about a man named Jihad. All righty, folks. Hey, we got to go. I got to go, folks. I got to go. I want to thank you, Super Chatters. Thank you, New Days, for sharing all the links. Thank you, Mods, for keeping the channel clean. We're a family channel here, so we don't want wordy dirds and people coming in and harassing and abusing each other. We're a family here, guys. Have solar and wind. That's good, Drops. I'm about to be totally off grid myself. So, yeah, you're right, Doc Holiday. They don't have a clue, but that clue is about to slap them in the face, and they're not going to know how to react to it. They're not going. They're going to have cognitive. They're going to be totally in shock. They're not going to know what to do, especially if all you do is this. This is all you've ever known. What are you going to do? Sing another song. Oh Lord! Actually, New Days rewrote that with the Green Greg's lyrics. I need to look that up again. We grew tobacco. Yeah, I've seen tobacco growing. Tobacco used to be a lot of it in Tennessee, and there used to be. And I lived in North Carolina when I was in the Army, and they grew a lot of tobacco up there in North Carolina. So there you go, folks. So once again, thank you, Super Chatters. Thank you, Mods. Thank you, everyone, for watching. You're what makes this channel. Share my videos. Throw me a thumbs up, guys, on your way out. There were still at least 50 of you that hadn't hit the thumbs up. Continue to march. Yeah, we're working on it. So I will share my adventures going out there to Arizona, as you know. People will be camping at fast food joints. Well, there won't be anything there. They'll be empty. They'll get no supply. The grocery stores' shelves will be empty. The stores, the seed stores, will be empty. And their cash registers aren't going to work. Their bank accounts aren't going to work. There'll be no fuel to get anything there. You're playing a game of musical chairs, and music stops. You sit down, and whatever you got is what you got. That's the end, guys. That is it. So be ready. Get ready. Get manual tools. Get seeds. Go out and learn your wild edibles. You don't get enough carbs from wild edibles. That's why taters, somebody pointed out. So thank y'all for the travel well wishes. But with everything going on, with all the long rogue people, the sleeper cell folks, stay very situation aware. Anytime you go in a building, pay attention where the exits are. And think about what you'd do to duck and evade things if it get ugly. You might want to think about being that guy behind a blade of grass. And what happens if somebody is attacking your local substation? They're threatening you when they do that, guys. So you need to think about these things. You need to think very carefully, but be very careful. I'm just curious why Zoom is there on the video. It's because that's the app I'm using. Sorry about that. It's just that, I pay for the professional version. I don't know why they list that in a watermark. But yeah, a lot of these apps do that. That's the app I'm using. So that's how I'm recording and posting. Yeah, it's got its limitations. I probably need to explore some other stuff, but that takes time. One thing that's very short in my life is time. That's right, Arnold. I listened to my story about a man named Greg. Poor Rocketeer barely kept his family fed. Yeah, New Days has written some lyrics for me. So we'll have to practice those. I'll do some more poetry for you guys. Maybe some more singing in the not too distant future. I hope they're playing Leonard Skinner. There you go. I love Leonard Skinner. Give me 3 steps. Give me 3 steps toward the door. That's a funny one. Seeds will be valuable, but yeah, the problem about trading nug kibbles is it might come back at you. Be very careful who you trade them to, but they will definitely be valuable. Definitely that. They're already getting more valuable right now. All righty, folks. Hey, thank you everyone for watching. Thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for being such a wonderful family. And with that, I'm going to say, God bless you all.